like that part of L.A., that you could be a stranger in L.A. You could hide behind a beard and get away with it, even though you were a rock star.
I see your hair is burning. Hills are filled with fire.
I see your hair is burning. Hills are filled with fire. That's what poetry is. In a very few words, you create this entire world.
This guy who had words that were so percussive. I immediately heard rhythms.
And here's John drums. You hear what he's doing. This is all on one track. I mean, we had to make decisions in those days. It was all recorded on 8-track. So we locked it in. This is how they're locked together, John and Jerry Sheff.
Great player, great feel. Drummers and bass players are brothers in the basement, cooking up the groove. They're bonded.
Motel money, better madness. But can't I move from glad to sadness?
And then Morrison says a classic line, an anagram of his name. Jim Morrison, play with the letters, turn them around and move them around, and you come up with Mr. Mojo Rising.
Mr. Mojo Rising.
It was that quality of being stronger than everything around you and of climbing up out of that. You know, Mr. Mojo Rising, it's a brilliant image. And it comes from blues. I got my mojo working. Muddy Waters, Willie Dixon.
Mojo was a blues term for sexuality. And so I thought, well, what if I slowly increase the tempo like an orgasm?
And listen to this scream from Jim. He was obviously having fun, enjoying himself.
Yeah, it was like the energy level in the room just went from here to, whoa, overhead. We're operating up here. Energy is up here. Doors operated up there between the four of us quite a lot.
The song L.A. Woman, that was totally put together in the studio just from sitting around jamming and, you know. So I always say that's the quintessential Doors song because of the way we wrote it.
Here comes Robbie solo.
You need to be in a car with that on 10 and screaming down the freeway in Los Angeles listening to L.A. Woman, you'll get that song.
L.A. Woman, you know, the metaphor of the city as a woman is brilliant. Cops and cars, never saw a woman so alone. I mean, this is just great stuff. It's metaphoric. He's looking at the physicality of the town and thinking of her, and we need to take care of her. It's my hometown, so let's nurture the L.A. woman.
I want to tell you about Texas radio and a big beat. It Comes out of the Virginia swamps, cool and slow, with a backbeat narrow and hard to master. Some call it heavenly in its brilliance, others mean and rueful of the Western dream. I love the friends I have gathered together on this thin raft. We've constructed pyramids in honor of our escaping. Well, this is the land where the Pharaoh died.
Texas Radio, the big beat. Jim used to recite that as poetry
Children,
in concert, but he didn't have the little bridges that he sang. And I remember Ray saying, hey, what about Texas Radio? You know, we've never really done
they
it.
are saying, forget the night. Live with us in forests of azure. Meager food for souls forgot.
You know, that was that thing about Morrison all the time. It wasn't so much about the music, but about what this guy represented. What was he talking about? What was he trying to say? What was he trying to tell us?
I want to tell you about Texas Radio and the big beat.
With Jim eating his microphone.
Comes out of the Virginia swamps, cool and slow with plenty of precision, and a backbeat narrow and hard to master.
I'm going to solo John and Jim so you can hear how they're working together.
Some call it heavenly in its brilliance, others mean and rueful of the Western dream. I love the friends I have gathered together in this thin raft. We have constructed pyramids in honor of our escaping. This is the land where the Pharaoh died.
This is a great example of a song starting as a seed and flowering and becoming a complete song, and not doing it over a period of days.
It was a poem, and this lick, da-da-da, boom, 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 da-da-da, da-da-da-da-da. I don't know why. I kept the beat. But then I decided to follow the melody with my snare drum.
Those stations in Mexico, they used to broadcast across the border. Wolfman Jack was broadcasting from south of the border across the South and playing wild R&B and Howlin' at the Moon. And these would have been things that a lot of kids Jim's age would have heard.
Let me tell you about Texas Radio on the big beat, the Negroes of the forest. That scene that he paints is so primal.
The Negroes in the forest, brightly feathered, and they are saying, forget the night, live with us in forests of azure. Out here in the perimeter, there are no stars. Out here, we is stoned, immaculate.
Man, that is one of the greatest lines ever written. Because when you are stoned and you are out there on the perimeter, you are immaculate. This is psychedelics we're talking about. This is expanding one's consciousness. This was a journey to become immaculate.
Jim's life was poetry. With all of the tumult, the lack of rhyme, the freestyle that life has.
I don't think there was a better poet of Jim's age, of Jim's time.
Now listen to this, I'll tell you about Texas. I'll tell you about Texas Radio. I'll tell you about the hopeless night, wandering the western dream. Tell you about the maiden with wrought iron soul.
Near the end of the mixing, Jim said that he wanted to go to Paris.
In one of my photos of the recording studio, there's a chalkboard. And written on that chalkboard are the words, a clean slate. Jim needed a clean slate.
I think that was his gift to the band. he could go do what he wanted to do if he worked with them on this next album, which I